President Joe Biden
from President Trump
influencing an American election.
The election?
This year, over 40% of the people on planet Earth will be heading to the ballot box. That's right, nearly 50 countries, representing most of the world's GDP, will hold national elections. These include the global powerhouse that is the United States, big economies like the UK, countries like Russia and Iran that aren't known for being bastions of democracy, population behemoths like India, Indonesia, and Bangladesh, as well as geopolitical flashpoints like Ukraine and Taiwan. In 12 months from now, the global political landscape could look very different from how it does today. But what exactly could be the impact of these elections on the global economy? And how will they affect the crypto markets? For example, in the US, a powerful crypto lobby is gaining momentum and seeks to influence elections there.
Joe Biden.
Donald Trump?
Is this the year where crypto influences politics rather than the other way around? Well, keep watching because these are all questions we'll be exploring in this video. Right, so at the time of filming, we've already had two major elections. In Bangladesh, a country of 170 million people, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina won her fourth consecutive term in a controversial election, which the opposition boycotted and which saw a low voter turnout. The US derided the elections as, and I quote, not free or fair, and the impacts on global markets has been negligible. Then, all eyes turned to Taiwan. The island lies on a geopolitical fault line. China claims it, while Taiwan asserts its independence and is backed in doing so by the US. China is important for several reasons, not least because it produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and over 90% of the most advanced ones. Semiconductors are used in everything from computers to cars, solar panels to electronics. So, in a technological age, Taiwan's importance cannot be overstated. So what did the recent elections there reveal? Well, on the 13th of January, the Taiwanese elected the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP's candidate. The party favors dialogue with Beijing, but avowedly rejects China's territorial claims over the island. Needless to say, China is not happy with the outcome. For some Far East experts and commentators, the election results could exacerbate already strained China-US relations. The big worry is that China could launch a military strike on Taiwan. If that happens, the US military, and possibly those of another few allies, will likely be drawn in to defend the island. This would not only shake up the world politically, but it would ripple across economies, throwing markets, including crypto, into turmoil. What will happen exactly is impossible to say, but if the Ukraine conflict is any indication, we could see a sharp drop in the price of BTC. For context, when Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, the price of BTC dropped 7% in a single day. Because of the prospect of a hot war between the world's two superpowers, a Chinese attack on Taiwan is likely to have a much bigger impact on global markets and on crypto. The other factor to keep in mind is who will be leading the US if or when an attack takes place, and what could this mean for the US response? But we'll get back to the US later on in this video. For now, let's move over to Pakistan and Indonesia. In February, both countries will hold general elections. Together, those countries represent over 500 million people. Pakistan's election comes amid a major crackdown on the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, a one-time cricket superstar. Authorities have targeted his PTI party and thrown him in jail on corruption charges, which he denies. The country is also going through major economic challenges, with inflation nearing 30%. Although the election in Pakistan isn't likely to impact the markets too much, it could be a sign of what's to come in terms of AI's use in politics. In an effort to get around a government ban of him appearing on TV, Imran Khan recently delivered a speech using an audio clip generated using AI to address a virtual rally, which reportedly had over 5 million views. Something tells me that we'll be seeing AI used a lot more in elections across the world.
Yes, the year 1964 has begun, and to commemorate the new year, we asked some young people how they think the future will look in 60 years' time. What will the world be like in the year 2024?
There'll be so many people that they'll have to have an overflow into the sea.
I think whenever we have a question, we'll just ask a computer and it will tell us the answer.
Everyone will have their own flying car and they'll just be flying around all over the place.
Or I may be at the funeral of a computer.
I don't think there'll be politicians or anything like that. I think there'll be monkeys and they'll be in charge.
Yes, I think the Coin Bureau deals page will be the place where all the best deals in crypto can be found. No doubt about it. It'll be absolutely fantastic.
Because there'll be more cures for the diseases and not so many people will get sick.
Anyone who's got any sense will store their money on their own hardware device where no one will be able to get it. And they'll use the Coin Bureau deals page to get the best discounts on those devices.
All dogs and cats will probably be robots by then, and you won't have to take them to the vet or anything, really.
I think when you sign up to an exchange on the Coin Bureau deals page, you'll get discounts on trading fees of up to 60%. It'll be lovely.
I expect they will set aside parts of the country solely for recreation.
One day, the Coin Bureau deals page will offer up to $50,000 in sign-up bonuses on some of the best cryptocurrency exchanges. I can't wait. I really can't. It'll be splendid. So, there you have it. The year 2024 is going to be quite incredible by all accounts. The future's bright. The future's Coin Bureau.
There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right, now to Indonesia. And as it happens, crypto. The country whose 270 million people are spread over a whopping 18,000 islands was in crypto news last year for being the first to launch a government-backed national bourse for digital assets. The Commodity Future Exchange, CFX, as the bourse is known, is a new kind of market similar to the famous stock exchanges like Nasdaq, but focused on digital assets. The CFX will monitor asset liquidity and record crypto transactions for tax purposes. It also obliges exchanges to register with it. The CFX is the Indonesian government way of responding to the growing interest in crypto in the country. It might shock you to learn that 18 million people trade crypto in Indonesia, as compared to just 12 million for the regular stock market. Now, on the 14th of February, as the country will elect its new president and vice president, one major talking point as the election approaches is a plan to relocate the country's capital from Jakarta on the island of Java to Nusantara on the island of Borneo. The plan, put forward by President Joko Widodo, aims to distribute economic activity throughout the country and reduce traffic congestions in Jakarta. The ambitious scheme is estimated to cost over $30 billion and is opposed by some presidential hopefuls, one of whom says he will scupper the plan if elected. Because of the uncertainty around the elections, Indonesian investors are behaving cautiously for the time being. Despite their enormous populations, neither of those elections will have significant impact on the crypto market. But in a much smaller state in Central America, one election could. On the 4th of February, voters in El Salvador will decide on their next president. Nayib Bukele, who stepped down as president late last year to focus on the election campaign, is the frontrunner. According to pollsters, he should be shoe-in, as he's currently polling more than 68% of the vote. Under his rule in September 2021, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Since then, his government has bought up BTC as part of the country's wealth fund, giving crypto investors a pathway to citizenship, and plans to create a so-called Bitcoin City, funded largely by a Bitcoin-backed bond. Last year, a Reuters report showed that little to no progress was made on the city. At that point, the price of BTC was under $20,000, and confidence in crypto was low. But today, with BTC trading at a little over $40,000 and expected to rise, the mood could be shifting. After all, Najib recently said that the country's BTC investments are in the black. Also, when the country adopted BTC in 2021, the price was only slightly above what it is today at $47,000. If Najib remains in power and BTC continues to rise, expect to see revived interest in El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment. Right, moving on. Around April or May, shortly after the Bitcoin halving takes place, India's 1.4 billion people will go to the polls. As well as now being the world's most populous country, India is home to major crypto companies, including Polygon, and a big pool of developer talent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his BJP party are odds-on favourites to win their third election. If they do, we can expect business as usual in terms of both traditional and crypto markets. And by business as usual, I mean Indians will continue to endure a controversial tax that has hamstrung the industry. In case you're unfamiliar, in July 2022, Modi's government announced a 30% tax on crypto profits and a 1% tax on all transactions. Naturally enough, this has riled local crypto entrepreneurs and investors. Reports suggest that as many as 5 million crypto traders have moved their transactions offshore. Moreover, Indian crypto traffic has nosedived, according to CoinDesk. Representatives of the local crypto industry are appealing to the government for a reduction, lest it kill off the sector. But for now, at least, there is no sign of this happening. Right, let's jump forward to June. On the 9th, the Parliament of the European Union will have its elections. While the Parliament is the weakest of the EU institutions, it does have certain key powers, not least the ability to veto the new president of the European Commission. Also, the Parliament will be legislating over a whole host of issues that are relevant to the crypto sector. Take, for instance, MiCA, the EU legislation that essentially establishes uniform rules for crypto assets across the Union. MiCA was approved and ratified by the European Parliament last year. It will come into force in late December, with stablecoin provisions taking effect 6 months earlier in June. MiCA is far-reaching, but it doesn't cover all things for all people. The European Parliament will continue to have to discuss its issues around money laundering, tax avoidance, distributed ledger technology, and many more topics that could have implications for crypto. And it's for these reasons and more that the parliamentary elections are so important. As for the outcome, it's too early to tell. Some commentators, however, are wondering if the growth of the white ring politics across Europe will be reflected in Brussels as well. On that point, right now, Brussels is experiencing a particularly uncertain time. That's because earlier this month, the head of the European Council, the body that brings together the leaders of the EU member countries, took the unprecedented decision to resign. Charles Michel is cutting his term early in mid-July so he can stand in the EU parliamentary elections. This move could mean the vocally anti-EU leaders of Hungary, Viktor Orban, becomes the head of the council by default. While Brussels is often uneventful, we could be looking at an exceptional year ahead. Before I move on to the most consequential election of the year, allow me to take a detour to the dear old UK. Recently, former British Chancellor George Osborne revealed on a podcast that, and I quote, "A little birdie told him that elections would take place in the UK in mid-November. According to British law, the Prime Minister can call elections any time before they're mandated to take place. In this case, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak can call an election any time before the 17th of December 2024. Now, there was speculation that Sunak might hold it earlier in the year, leaning on the feel-good factor voters have around late spring and summer. but even he has now conceded that he will hold them off until the second half of the year. In any case, whenever elections do take place, Sunak and his Conservative Party will vie with Labour under Keir Starmer, respectively for dominance in Parliament and to be the next Prime Minister. While a lot could happen before then, current polls suggest that Labour could take it, quite possibly by a wide margin. If this happens, how will the crypto market respond? Well, this is not straightforward. In fact, when it comes to crypto, Starmer's position is extremely opaque. If you Google his name and crypto, you'll get a bunch of links, but no insight into his thoughts on the subject. Unless we've missed something, Starmer has said precisely nothing about crypto in public. Based on this, it's maybe fair to assume that the better outcome from a purely crypto standpoint would be a Conservative win. Sunak, unlike his opponent, is vocally pro-crypto and blockchain. Sunak has said very clearly that he wants the UK to become a hub for global crypto and digital assets. I should also note that under him, the UK passed the Financial Service and Market Act 2023, which creates regulatory structures for crypto in the UK. It's fair to say that under Sunak, the UK has demonstrated a clear intention to become a global hub for crypto, but that the full impact of these measures on the industry is yet to be seen. I should add, though, that Guy was back in the UK over summer and spoke with some very well-placed people there who suggested that the Labour Party, more broadly, may in fact be receptive to the crypto industry. If that is indeed true, then that could bode well for crypto in the UK, but we'll just have to wait and see. Right, now to the big one. No election in 2024 will be more consequential than the US general election. Up for grabs are the presidency, 1/3 of the seats in the Senate, and all of the seats in the House of Representatives. While the presidential race dominates the headlines, who controls the House and the Senate will determine whether Congress passes laws easily over the following 4 years, or is instead mired in a deadlock. As it stands, 34 of the 100 Senate seats are up for grabs. As for the House, all 435 seats are on the line. According to the Council for Foreign Relations, a think tank, the Republicans look set to retake the Senate, but the fate of the House is less clear. But so-called experts have been spectacularly wrong in predicting past US elections. Some of you will remember the New York Times predicting with 91% certainty that Hillary Clinton would beat Donald Trump in 2016. So take that with a pinch of salt. Right, on to the voters. What do they care about? Well, according to a survey carried out on behalf of Grayscale, a digital currency asset manager, inflation is the single most pressing problem in America today by a wide margin, as you can see from the chart. Grayscale argues that Bitcoin and the wider crypto asset class are more politically relevant than ever. And it's really easy to see why. For the first time ever, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto more generally were all mentioned in an American presidential primary debate. In fact, the Republican presidential candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, was specifically asked about crypto. He is one of the few candidates to specifically make crypto part of his campaign, even accepting donations in BTC. The fact that Vivek pulled out of the contest in mid-January doesn't take away from the fact that crypto being mentioned in the presidential debate is further evidence that it is coming into the mainstream. That said, it's unlikely that crypto will feature prominently as the presidential election race tightens. Pundits and polls suggest the election will be a rerun of 2020, with Joe Biden squaring off against Donald Trump. Neither man is particularly vocal about crypto. For his part, Biden's administration has expressed concerns about the risks associated with cryptocurrencies, such as consumer and investor protection, financial stability, illicit finance, and the environment, among other things. But his administration's position is more cautious than hostile. He has not been outwardly opposed to crypto. Trump's position, on the other hand, appears to have evolved over the years. In 2019, he tweeted, and I quote, "I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not many and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air." But his position on crypto and related technologies appears to have softened since. In December 2022 and April 2023, he released NFT trading cards of himself, which raised millions of dollars. Earlier this year, Trump went as far as to announce during a campaign speech that if he became president again, he will, and I quote, "never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency by the Fed." It's up for debate if these moves were ideological, U-turns, or more of a pragmatic shift. But crypto isn't top priority for either man, and so the election of one over the other is unlikely to dramatically impact the crypto market. In fact, if we look at the 2020 election, which was also between Biden and Trump, as well as the 2016 election, this comes out clearly. BTC's price was not particularly volatile in either case. And what about the markets more broadly? Well, one poll showed that voters are worried about the impact of elections on their portfolios, and by extension, the economy more generally. But are these concerns justified? Well, if you look at past presidential races, it appears that they're not. In fact, according to Investopedia, and I quote, "Historical data shows markets have tended to rise in presidential election years. In fact, in over 80% of elections since 1928, the S&P 500 recorded positive returns." Before wrapping this up, we want to focus on another interesting crypto aspect to this election, and that is campaign funding by the pro-crypto lobby. This is nothing new. Disgraced founder of FTX turned smoked macro trader Sam Bankman-Fried famously lined up politicians' pockets on both sides of the aisle using customer funds. Shortly before his downfall, he stated that he intended to donate more than $100 million to the US elections in 2024, possibly up to $1 billion if Trump ran again. Now that could have moved the needle. While SBF's money is no more, a few lobby groups have emerged and have strong, reputable backers. Chief among these are 3 super PACs: Fair Shake, Protect Progress, and Defend American Jobs, that at present have a combined campaign war chest of $78 million and will seek to influence congressional elections. A quick aside in case you're unfamiliar with the US campaign fundraising, super PACs or political action committees are bodies that can raise and spend unlimited sums of money in favor of or against candidates. These super PACs are funded by the likes of Ripple, the company behind XRP, Coinbase, a major US crypto exchange, Andreessen Horowitz, or A16Z, known for being supportive of crypto ventures, and the twins behind Gemini, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. As CNBC reported, A16Z's co-founder Ben Horowitz announced the company's intention to, and I quote, "support like-minded candidates and oppose candidates who will aim to kill America's advanced technological future." This, presumably, represents the thinking across the board. CNBC has also highlighted the emergence of another lobbying group called the Cedar Innovation Foundation. This, the source says, is a so-called dark money group. In other words, a group that spends money on campaigns without disclosing who their donors are. According to one of the sources quoted in the report, we could see crypto lobbying groups, and I quote, putting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into supporting pro-crypto candidates or lobbying against anti-crypto ones. This year, will we see crypto influencing politics rather than politics influencing crypto? And what will that mean for the industry? These are 2 questions we'll be keeping a close eye on as the election season in the US heats up. Right, that's all for today. There are a bunch more elections this year, including those in the likes of Russia and Iran. But from our perspective, these are the ones to watch. Now over to you. Tell us, what do you think we missed? And what do you think of our analysis? What election result do you think could really impact the market and why? If you're a fan of our channel, you know the drill. Please like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Also head over to our deals page, link is in the description. There you'll find all of the best offers in crypto, everything from up to $50,000 in bonuses from top exchanges to discounts on the best hardware wallets in the business. And you can also check out our Discord channel for some top crypto alpha. Subscribe to our Telegram group for the top crypto news and video releases, and check out our Twitter for everything in between. If you want to know where we're investing, view our famous altcoin review videos, and much more besides, the Coin Bureau Club is the place for the biggest fans and supporters. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Jessica, and I'll see you again soon.